Perimenopause and menopause, this is going to be fully directed at this stage of life, even postmenopausal. I want to give you as much information as you possibly can take in your brain, right? So that you can actually implement. Now, if this is you, right? If any of you guys experiencing this right now, weight gain, especially around the middle, you haven't changed anything, but the scale is creeping up and up and up. You have energy crashes, anxiety, depression, you're losing toner muscle, and you're just frustrated, or you're puffy or bloated. You're in the right spot. And if you feel like doing more, right, has always typically worked when it comes to eating less or moving more, but that doesn't work. So you're unsure of the next step. So the next step is like, where do I go from here? And I can understand how that can be frustrating. From a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel like your metabolism is running right now? I want to see in the chat, make sure everyone's awake and actually listening here. If you one's going to be like, if you look at a piece of pizza, you gain 3 pounds. 10, food goes to muscle. You feel like everything's going to muscle, not to fat around the hips or anything like that. Not straight to your waistline. Where do you feel on a 1 to 10 scale right now? You guys are quick on the chat box. All right, everyone's. What I'm about to teach you is even works if you are perimenopause, so entering menopause, you're postmenopause, so you're right through it, or you're right in menopause, or if you have diabetes, Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, hyper, celiac, had a hysterectomy, gluten-free, HRT or not, any or all of the above. And we're going to talk about HRT at the end, just a little sneak peek for that as well. Okay, so you're not broken. This will work if you have any of these conditions. Now, Lydia's transformation, this one really hits home for me. This was like one of my favorite ones. The biggest thing for her was like I've been being able to fully presently spending time with her kids. So she battled with the mindset of like all or nothing thinking, which I'm sure a lot of you guys struggle with. You're either like all in or all out, and there's like really no in between. She would lose the same 10 to 15 pounds over and over again. She could never sustain the weight loss, right? We don't want to just lose it. We want to maintain it, right? That's should be the majority of your guys' goal. Deanne's transformation, she's actually now a coach. She's unreal, great to work with, but slow weight gain in her 50s. She literally could not run it off. She was trying to do more exercise, more activity, would not work. Led to fatigue, and now she has more energy that she knows what to do with. And I'm not kidding. And then we got Carla here. So Carla's down over 30 pounds. She's another long-term client. She's not feeling old. She's fitting into clothes that she's wore in her 20s. She struggled with midsection weight primarily, right? And sugar and constant sweet cravings. We got pretty much rid of those. I'm not saying you're not going to crave sugar or sweets ever again, but she's been able to maintain the weight off now for 2 years. She's actually still one of my longest time clients. She doesn't want to be a coach. And then Terry lost 30 pounds in her 60s. Literally broke. She had like a mindset like, can I actually do this? Like in your 60s, 70s, you absolutely can. The oldest client I had was 74. That anything in your 80s, sorry, I'm not able to help. Who's the oldest lady here? I can look in the chat box, but there's no, again, age doesn't matter. Obviously you want to start sooner or later, the harder it is, the older you get, obviously, right? I'm more independent and have no longer constant pain. And being able to lift dog food was her big thing. She could lift dog food, and it was like, that was the best thing ever. She's like, with ease, like I can be independent. I can do things by myself. So my promise, by the end of this presentation, you will know how to get results just like these ladies. You are not broken. You just need a new strategy. Okay. If you stay to the end, there is a one-on-one opportunity for a free strategy call. Like I said, I mentioned this at the start. But again, I have nothing to tell you, but you will need to learn throughout this whole training. So it's important that you stay throughout the whole thing, because it won't make sense for you if you don't stay for the whole thing. You're just left clueless. The call won't even make sense. By the end of this training, I want or for you to have, so you'll know 3 things if you pay attention. So what doesn't work? Breaking the myth of eat less, move more, and why that does not work. Reduce cravings and inflammation, so melt your hormonal belly fat and lower inflammation. Inflammation is huge at this stage of life because of lack of estrogen. And then metabolic reset, how to fire up your metabolism, menopause, and beyond. So how do you have the metabolism that you're going to be able to keep the weight off so you don't have to starve yourself? Like anybody can eat like 400 calories and probably lose weight, but how long can you do that for? And there will be a Q&A at the end of this. Okay? Now, we also want to get results without cutting carbs or sugar or bread, hard grueling workouts, boring meal plans, no chicken, rice and broccoli, or taking Ozempic or crazy supplements. Many of you guys are here because you don't want to take a jab, and you definitely don't have to. I'm not for it or against it, but if you don't have to, right, you probably don't want to for the long-term complications. Who am I? So, my name's Jesse Greco. Try and say my last name. You will learn it. But so I've struggled with anxiety, depression, and emotional eating for years. Okay. And you're probably going to wonder, I'll get into it in a second, like, why is a guy coaching women in menopause in his late 20s? But for the big thing for me, for the anxiety and depression side, emotionally, like in emotional eating, I struggled hugely with it, right? I was never 60, 70 pounds overweight. I'm not going to say that, but I did like significantly struggle with these factors, and it plays a role when it comes to weight loss, right? It's not just like X's and O's. It is a mental thing too. And I started coaching at 19 years old. So I started very early. This is like right from the get-go. This is the only thing I knew I would do for the rest of my life. There was no like, oh, maybe I'll do this. Like for my very first personal training session, I was like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm meant for. This is what God put me on this earth for. I'm rocking and rolling with it. So I actually broke through depression with my faith and fitness. If you haven't watched any of my content, faith is a big aspect of me as well. And it also helped me lose 25 pounds, the combination of those two. So without boring you with me, why do I coach women? So much information out there. You don't know where to start. Like so many people are telling you like it's this thing, and you've just no direction where to start. And I actually do care deeply. You're gonna get that, should get that feeling from me, because one of the things like it's truly rewarding giving back to someone's woman, like a woman's quality of life. For you guys in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, and setting up like a retirement, you want to enjoy it and giving that opportunity back for someone, or even just like strength or like the mobility, like that is huge. And just like feeling good and looking in the mirror and be like, actually like love the reflection that you get. That's great too, but that's like one aspect of it, but it's like the rest of your life. This isn't just like lose 20 pounds and like that's it, right? It has more benefits than just that. And why listen to me? I don't know why I put a potato there. I should probably take that out. I've been coaching for 8 years. I have over 500 plus transformations, 15 plus certifications, and 300 active clients, and we do have 7 coaches on our team. All of our coaches, I honestly think they care more than I do. They're amazing, and some of them were past clients, but a couple were just like that I found throughout Canada. And like I said, the certifications, if that means anything to you, probably know precision nutrition, all that good stuff, biomechanics training on the left there. And then obviously your basic CanFit Pro, just many different, like even menopause specific ones, just throughout the years. Cool. All right. So my goal is to not have you fear the scale and actually see a number that you want to see. Many of you guys are scared of the scale, obviously, because you don't like the number or it's your heaviest you've ever been. And you're like, okay, like something's got to change, right? I'm ready for a change. There are, 3 things. This is types of women that, or this is the 3 things for women that want to lose weight without packaged meals or endless supplements. So again, I'm not huge on taking like this supplement, this one. I'm not against them. There's some basic ones, but you're not going to have to take endless supplements. So many people like tell you have this, this, and this, and that's going to reduce your belly fat. Like, come on. And who hate lifting weights? If you hate lifting weights, this is not for you. Lifting weights is a big part of our program, and learning how to do that properly and without injuring yourself. Or if you just love doing cardio, great. Like you're going to have to lift weights. That's just part of it. Without muscle mass, increasing your bone density, you're gonna have a terrible time losing weight. Or 3, women who want to keep doing short-term keto, carnivore, low-carb diets, like short-term fixes. Again, this isn't for you if you're looking for that. So part 1, we're going to talk about breaking the myth of eat less, move more, and why that does not work in menopause. Estrogen drops, muscle mass speeds up. So you burn fewer calories at rest. Not fun, right? Especially if we're not weight training, that's accelerating it. We're losing 3 to 8% of your muscle mass after the age of 30, typically for ladies, right? It sucks, but we can combat that. So your workouts do have to change, right? If you stress your body out more, it backfires. More is not better. We got to get to the mindset that more is better. Better is better. So most of our ladies are working out 2-3 times a week, like workout programs that we program. Like no more than that. I know it seems great to be doing 4 or 5, but like your body is not, you're not in your 20s and 30s. Because there's a couple of negative side effects of this. High cortisol effects. So which leads to a chance of fat storage and catabolic to muscle. So catabolic including muscle. So it makes you weaker and fatter. So if we have cortisol is not necessarily bad, but chronically elevated cortisol levels are bad. Right? So if we're doing too much, not recovering between the workouts, body stressed out, you're go, go, go all the time, that is going to lead you to struggle big time, right? And, sorry, I put that there, and not see the results you want. Now, if you have high cortisol, you typically have more visceral fat. So your body fat, if you store, your body stores more fat right in the belly, right? So if you notice, especially around the organs, so like the visceral fat is the dangerous, that's going to affect like cardiovascular diseases, many different health risks. So it's like it protects that fat because it's a survival fuel, right? And it becomes stubborn as heck to lose. So like, there's lots of reasons for we don't want to keep cortisol high. Now, high cortisol effects. So over consuming calories, right? Craving carbs, processed sugars, or muscle loss. Okay. So obviously, if you have high cortisol, you're typically going to be snacking more. You're going to be less aware of what the food you're eating and craving a lot of more processed sugars and losing muscle. Right. Things to avoid with your workouts. So I know, like you said, it feels good to get a sweat on. That's not what we want to focus on. Or breathing heavy. That's not the goal. So boot camp classes, Beachbody, Orange Theory, F45, HIIT classes, those are great once in a while. They should not be your primary source of working out. If you're trying to lose any amount of fat, you're trying to lose weight, 20 plus pounds, you're going to be struggling. You're going to be beating your head against the wall. Can you do it? Yeah, it might be terrible. It might be terrible. It might put your body, you're going to gain the weight back. We do not care about sweating. We don't care about how high your heart rate is. We don't care how sore you are after. I know that's like common, like that's good things. All these things are important, but that's not what we're focused on. Some key things that we want to focus on with training to reduce stress is our workout programs typically range from 4 to 6 exercises max in a workout. 5 to 10 rep range for most exercises, right? So we're not doing like 15 plus reps and longer rest times, like 2 minutes plus. So you're taking a break in between each set that you're doing, like each exercise. So you're not just going from next exercise, back to back. That's not what we're doing. We want to limit the high intensity cardio or cut it out completely. Like I mentioned, you can get away with doing some of those like boot camp classes style, like F45, like where you're kind of jumping around. Most of you guys don't want to do that because you don't want to hurt your knees anyways. But if you really like getting your heart rate super elevated, we can get away with doing some, maybe 1 to 2 max a week, but we want to focus the majority of time on strength training. Okay. Signs of an effective workout. So less energy, not good, right? More energy, great. Wired and tired, not good. More appetite after a workout is actually a good thing, right? So if you have no appetite for like 2 to 3 hours after a workout, that's not necessarily a good thing. Like you're just dead, you're depleted, and you just like don't want to eat anything. Like food makes you feel gross. Probably went too hard. You should have more energy after a workout. If you've progressed with weights, right? So you either progress with weights. I just realized I flipped these by accident, but you progress with weights or not being able to sit. Like, so not good thing is not being able to sit down and pee. Like you're so sore that you can't even like walk the next day. You obviously overdid it. Mild soreness is okay. So I'm talking like 2 days, like really your soreness should last probably, like 2 to 3 days max, but like mild soreness. You should never be able to like not be able to sit down and pee. Like you overdid it. All right. Have any of you guys dealt with that in the chat box? I want to make sure. Have any of you guys like tried to work out and then you got too sore and you're like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? I just want to make sure. Have any of you guys that went through that? I can see that in the chat box. Make sure you're awake. We're still, yes. Okay. All right. Thought it was just me. Just kidding. When we want to do that, I just want a quick tip on that. We always focus on for our ladies to do less volume, so less sets in the start of a workout program. That actually makes it so your body can adjust. You actually don't want to push too hard in those first couple of weeks. You can progress later in the weeks, but when you're doing the same workouts like over and over and over again, we can progress them later. So that's kind of when we combat that. But cortisol raising activities. So these are things like fasting, under eating, skipping meals. Many of you guys aren't eating breakfast. I'm not going to go off on that. Not enough protein, alcohol. Alcohol in itself isn't bad, but like over 3 drinks in a week typically has some really negative side effects. It's actually sleep too. But too much caffeine in itself isn't bad. Not enough carbs though. Many of you guys are uneating carbs because you're scared of carbs or you just want to do it to lose weight. But intermittent fasting, not a fan of for ladies in menopause and menopause or any of those. Under eating. So your body needs energy from food, especially while trying to build the muscle, right? Like if we're going to be working out and putting on some lean muscle mass and boost our metabolism up, we can't just be eating super low calories for a long time. Like where's that muscle mass going to come from? It's not going to just pop out of thin air, right? So, if you are eating low calories for a long time, you will have lower thyroid output. So you'll burn less calories, you'll move less, you'll have less NEAT. So non-exercise activity thermogenesis is what that means. It's just shorter. So basically, you have less fidgeting. You don't want to move as much because you're tired, right? Many of you guys are tired, or you have like this 3 p.m. crash, or you're not sleeping good, and you burn less calories that way. If you've been under eating for a very long period of time, your body will get used to that, and that'll become your new normal. So you can't just keep getting eating less and less. That's not fun. Um, why don't 1,200 calorie diets work? Our metabolism adapts. Like I said, too low of calories, too long equals your new maintenance, equals weight gain. So we want to have our maintenance calories as high as they possibly can be. If they're too low, right, that's going to be a problem. That's going to lead to, again, like you're going to have to cut calories lower and lower and lower. So 1,200 calorie diets, I know it seems great. You feel like, oh, I'm barely eating any food, but you're not, your body's not adapting to it. Angela is like one of these clients that is now eating like 2,300 calories and she's maintaining. She's even losing on 2,300 calories. She's still a client. She's going to become a coach because I like her. But this is her transformation. She's lost over 70 pounds now. This is kind of a tough picture to see that, but you can see it probably in her face. It's insane. But important, if you have been dieting for a long time, you may need a reverse diet. So a reverse diet basically means you are eating more food slowly. Like you're reversing. It's a reverse diet. So what that does, a reverse diet, you intentionally add calories to your plan. So 150 to 200 calories every 1 to 2 weeks, right? You get that metabolism, the thyroid levels up, and your metabolism, your speed's up, literally, right? You start adding in food, but you start feeling better. You're working out, you're building lean muscle, and that's how we get this rolling and this fat loss and this muffin top gone. That is what a reverse diet is. How to naturally lower inflammation and improve gut health to make fat loss easy. Part 2. I'm kind of ripping through. I'm faster today. I'll slow down. We'll have time, lots of time for Q&A. What causes the spike of inflammation in menopause? Estrogen drops in our body. It's our main protector against inflammation. So you guys have heard of your sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Testosterone is another one, big one. But as estrogen drops, inflammation naturally rises. So as it drops, inflammation goes up. Less estrogen support also equals less stomach acid. So your ability to digest food, you have a weaker digestion. You have more gut symptoms, right? That's what a lot of times like protein powder, a lot of protein powders disrupts a lot of ladies' guts and it does not feel good at all. That's why we have to slowly kind of increase protein for a lot of ladies. And sometimes like people just eat way too much protein. We have so many issues. Symptoms of this is if you have hot flashes, night sweats, joint pain, brain fog, muscle stiffness, and of course, weight gain. Any of you guys dealing with any of those? Those 5 hit any, dealing with any? I know a lot of you guys are dealing with brain fog. I talk to a lot of you guys every day. No, you don't have to lie. I deal with brain fog too. A lot of food actually. All right. Oh yeah. All right. We're Tamara, Linda. Okay. Yeah. Everyone's like, yes. That's me. Samantha. All right. Hot flashes. We're going to get into that. Obviously, doing everything naturally, I think, can reduce a lot of these and improve symptoms, but HRT can be an additional thing. But keys to reducing inflammation. So balancing blood sugar, anti-inflammatory foods, and omega-3 fatty acids. Many of you guys have heard like fish oils, like fish is really good source of omega-3, is great for lowering inflammation. Balancing blood sugar is massive. And then anti-inflammatory foods that we kind of push really for ladies to get as much as they possibly can. Meal timing for blood sugar balance. So meal timing, so eating high protein meals early in the day improves GLP-1 secretion throughout the day. So if you can, again, we want to front load our protein more often, not in the day. So front loading your protein like 30 grams plus at breakfast. That's what that means. You don't have to crush protein like every single meal, right? Say you're having 4 meals. I'm not saying you have to do that, but earlier on the day, we can get a half of our protein goal by 1 p.m. Let's say it's like 130 grams, whatever. And you want to get half of that before, so it's like 60, 65 before 1 p.m. That's like a good goal to shoot for. But the meal timing is also being huge. You also can eat your protein or vegetables first. That also improves like blood sugar control and how your body responds to the food instead of having your starchy carbs first. It's another simple thing you can do. Then we have movement. So movement after meals, even a 10, 20-minute walk post-meal slows down gastric emptying and naturally boosts GLP-1, which is that GLP-1 is like your ability to feel full. Like GLP-1 drugs reduce your appetite, like Ozempic, Wegovy. this is another natural thing that you can do to just help like you feel full and not having like snacking feeling after. And also helps control blood sugar spikes. So it's something so simple, even at lunch, supper time, any type of movement after a meal. We don't want to remove food groups. This is the last thing we want to do. This is like carbs help reduce inflammation. Crazy, I know. The right type of carbs. I'm not saying to eat like cookies and cake and pastries. Reduce inflammation, help you feel full, feed gut bacteria, slow digestion, and balance hormones. So like these are essential, especially if you're working out. There's no reason you should be eating less than 100 grams of carbs per day, ever. Focus on addition instead of subtraction. The way that I like to look at it, if you want to win long term when it comes to weight loss, you want to think of it like this. You want to, instead of trying to cut carbs, cut sugar, cut snacks, cut eating out, cut calories harder, we want to think of the right side thinking. Add protein every meal, add fiber rich carbs, add volume, add veggies, potatoes, fruit, regular meals, sleep, steps, recovery. Always adding. I know it sounds backwards, but if you can add as much food to your plate that is or the good things, you're going to have typically less of the bad things or the things that aren't contributing to your goals. But we don't want to cut out those things either. I think it's important that every plan that you have includes eating out, having a cake, chocolate. Like you're not going to sustain not ever having that ever again. Not my mentality. Types of food that lower inflammation. Guys, you got to have these in your diet. Absolutely. Polyphenols, rich foods. So these plant compounds enhance gut hormone signaling. So most fruits, blueberries, strawberries, grapefruit, apple, dark leafy greens. Kind of threw in some other than fruit in there. Fiber resistant starches. And resistant starches, sorry. These slow digestion, again, increasing that GLP-1. So we got like oats, barley, lentils. You can look back at this, sweet potatoes. And anything like cooled, if you, it adds like a resistant starch. So like even like cooled rice, cooled potatoes is actually better for like controlling blood sugar spikes. If you were to do that as well. It's not like going to make or break your fat loss journey, but everything little bit helps. And then we got our healthy fats, avocado, olive oil, nuts, seeds, fatty fish, right? Those are the omega 3s that we talk about to help lowering your inflammation. Those are essential, very key. If you guys didn't know this, I get this all the time. I had to throw this in here. Have you heard of like trying to stop eating by like 7 p.m.? Like you should stop eating at a certain time. I don't believe that's true at all. Yes, if you eat like a pizza right before you go to sleep, that's probably going to affect your sleep. But a slow digesting carb before bed, like a small snack, like oats and peanut butter, or like some cinnamon and apple, can help you regulate your cortisol overnight to allow for a deeper sleep for some women. Crazy, right? So like even like peanut butter on toast, whatever, whole grain toast, not a piece of white bread, but that's simply that little thing you can do. 4 keys that I would say that are really important are 25 grams of fiber, 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight, and focusing on 2 to 3 servings fruit/vegetable minimum per day, right? So 1 gram per pound of goal body weight. Let's say you're 150 pounds or 200 pounds, and your goal weight's 150. That's around like 150 grams of protein. That's a very general thing. Again, this is going to be dependent on the person and how much weight you have to lose in your body fat percentage, but I just want to give you a general ballpark on where to hit, right? And again, with the fiber, you're going to slowly increase that up. You're not going to just slam 25 grams of fiber if you're eating 7. You're going to have major gut issues. So you want to slowly increase that up, right? So those would be the 4 keys that I would want you to really hammer down on. So if we want to speed up your metabolism, never hit a plateau ever again, right? If you train for your body, your new body, you focus on improving your gut health and lowering inflammation. You stop using restriction, trying to cut out food groups or push down cravings, the right foods to balance your blood sugar, reduce inflammation, you can finally melt that belly fat. I know like it sounds like it's too good to be true, but it's possible. Arm fat or whatever fat off your body. A lot of you guys deal with back fat. And that's huge. So, and the one thing I want to say is like a lot of you guys are talking about like HRT, right? There's misconceptions with HRT. I'd say half our ladies are on some form of HRT and half are not. You absolutely do not need HRT to lose weight. The way I like to look at it when it comes to HRT or hormone replacement therapy. So these are like estradiol, progesterone, even testosterone for some ladies. This is a personal choice, right? but you need to understand what it's good for and what it's not good for. So HRT will definitely probably help with menopause symptoms. It can make them worse if you overdose, but we're not going to get into that. But including like hot flashes, energy, like this will just improve with the nutrition combined. Weight training and nutrition are going to be the things that move the needle for you, change your body composition, and get rid of that pesky layer of fat so you can feel better about yourself. Now, it does not impact necessarily your metabolism. It makes it easier to do those things. So I said, many of our members are on it, many members are not. It's a personal decision at the end of the day. I do talk about in the program because again, I am pretty pro on it because a lot of ladies that are on it just like it helps them with their quality of life. Absolutely. But the guys, does that make sense? Hopefully you guys are following on that. I want you guys to imagine for a second, and if I'm going too fast, I kind of rip through that today. Not being scared like of the mirror, not worrying about what clothes to wear or stressing about social events. Like just being able to put on an outfit and just like rock it. Not ever have to worry about like, does this fit or is this tight? Like imagine that feeling. Many of you guys probably had that maybe 10, 15 years ago. And like, I don't think it's good to be not like looking in the mirror again. This is a vain thing, but like in reality, if you're not able to look in the mirror and say like I'm proud of yourself, like at it every day, like that's not a life that I want to live personally. I'm sure a lot of you guys don't like that life either. Imagine being like capable and having the energy to play with your grandkids and not being left on the sidelines because you are not able. This is more than just weight loss. This is the quality of life that you want to have. No one wants to be the grandma that or the whatever. I don't say grandma yet, but I mean you guys are grandmas. That you let's go on the hike. Oh, I just can't do it. Like I literally just can't keep up now. And knowing that you could have done something and you didn't, but you didn't put yourself in the opportunity, like that sucks, right? Imagine not having to worry about your weight or diet ever again. You never have to try another fad diet. You don't have to try another Ozempic, or no Ozempic, keto or carnivore, anything that's like super restrictive. A lot of people like Octavia, Weight Watchers. You don't have to count points, right? You don't have to worry about doing another diet ever again. You never have to worry about losing the same 20 pounds again. You own the scale. I think the scale is one of the most important things, personally, that is good to like, gain emotion over. One of the things I recommend most of our ladies, and this might be tough for some of you guys, but weighing yourself every day actually gives you enough data to make decisions off of. And it takes out the emotion. If you have the data, you can take out the emotion with weight loss. Especially if you're seeing the scale move down, you're going to be more motivated, right? You're doing the things. A lot of you guys just don't want to waste your time, right? You've tried so many different things, you don't want to waste your time. But never having to do another diet again and you're like actually looking forward to what the scale sees, it's a lot easier to go on the scale. The scale is not everything. Your body composition matters, but the scale is one aspect of it. For sure. It absolutely is. Most ladies will see progress in the first 1 to 2 months. Imagine not feeling like your stomach or feeling your stomach like it feels like an attachment every time you bend over and push against like the clothes in your jeans. You can literally just like whip on the jeans. Don't have to feel that. It's not annoying. It's not like hanging around with you every day and it's like something you just get over real quick. And getting back and letting you guys keep your clothes like old clothes, right? That's probably one of the biggest milestones for a lot of ladies, like when they get back into old clothes and like get back to that spot. But many of you guys are in a dilemma right now, right? You can keep doing what you've been doing and you get the same result. You can keep kicking the can down the road or trying different things, right? But the problem is 90% of the women gain the weight back even if they lose it. That's a sad thing. 90%. So closer to 95% now, I think, some of the research that we have. Sucks, right? Because the strategy was either unrealistic or too restrictive. Or you can solve this problem for good. The thing is, a cookie cutter approach will not work. So many women copy what works for someone else, but it won't work for you because everybody's body is different. That's the hard thing to understand. If we can take out the emotion, we can guarantee results, but one person's data is going to be completely different than one person's data. Like this amount of calories for you isn't going to work for Joanne, right? So you have to address it to what works for you and what like that is very tough and that requires a lot of finicking around. We can't just like go into a calorie calculator on the internet. Like it gives you a general ballpark on where you need to be, but it does not take into account what you've been doing before, how many calories you've been eating before, how long you've been dieting, how low your calories have been, right? It doesn't take into account any of those things. So we go into this blind thinking, okay, like you do your 1400 calories, 1500 calories. Sometimes it's like way too low. And then you go do that, and then you don't get the results, and you don't see the momentum, and you eventually stop doing it because you're not seeing the results. And I get it; it'd be frustrating. You want to quit. So it's the right type of data, right? There's thousands of calorie calculators on the internet, like you probably have heard of so many. But um, that's why we've kind of created the menopause reset program because we know there was a gap from ladies that where wanted to be in the actual solution to get there. And again, like we talked about, there's so many things that influence the metabolism now and inflammation, your gut health, and what works and what doesn't work. So you need to have something that's proven, right? So part number one, we identify your personal symptoms and we develop a personalized action plan based off of that. So again, like how many calories were you eating before? Were you tracking before? Were you lifting weights? Were you not lifting weights? What kind of activity were you doing? Were you doing like HIIT classes? We take that all into account and then we build like a custom game plan for you, right? Um, and then how many days a week working out again even with the sets too, and how many exercises you're doing. How much do we think your body can recover from at this stage where you're at and where you came from? What can we get away with so that you can recover and optimize again, like balancing your hormones so you feel like more energized and you're also seeing progress, but not doing too much. Part number two, let's rev up your metabolism. Let's start being efficient and start burning calories instead of just trying to eat less and less and less and less in food, right? How about we get your hunger back up? That's a good sign. If you got like hunger for like again quality food, not saying like sugar, sweet, salty cravings, but like sometimes a lot of you guys are saying like you're not hungry throughout the whole day or like days at a time you barely eat. That's not a good thing. That's not a good sign. Um, get some muscle tone, right? So once we start dropping body fat, you can see some muscle tone with the weight training. Your energy's improving. Again, everything becomes a lot easier to do. And then part three, meet your body where it's at and get it where it needs to be without crashing or burning out. The biggest thing when you get to the place that you lose the weight, right? Um, and like you want to maintain it, right? So I will get to the questions, guys, at the end. Sorry. So we want to meet your body where it's at. So like say where we're coming from, and then we need to get it without crashing or burning out. So many of you guys again have lost some weight, but it's always came back because that end of that vacation or that the holiday you came back, you just couldn't get back into it, or what you were doing was obviously a short-term thing. It's probably one of the worst things ladies actually do before a vacation and they actually diet down, and then you go to these different foods and you kind of gain the weight back really fast. It's not a good place to do that. We want to get back to maintenance before you go to vacation, but that's besides the point. But you want to be able to do this without having to give up your whole life for fitness. We don't have time. When you guys are working full time, you don't have time to just try and focus everything on fitness like that. That can't be your whole life. If you had all the time in the world, maybe, right? Many of you guys need quick and effective like strategies that's actually going to be like something that you can implement consistently. And again, with our workouts that we do, we want to make sure you're only doing 2 or 3 days a week, even sometimes 4 if somebody's don't work out that much. But that's all you need to do. You don't need to do more than that. Okay. So path one, you go back to struggling, holding yourself accountable, right? And make up your own plan. Many of you guys, again, don't always do what's best for yourself. So sometimes we do need some accountability. Path number two, you get a proven system that's guaranteed to work if you're ready to change and you are coachable. For those of you who want to transform your body and your mind and make a change for good, right? And like you're actually like taking this information, you're going to run with it, type yes in the chat box. Just want to see. I will get to the questions at the end, guys. We'll do a Q&A. We got lots of time for Q&A. Lots of yeses. Carmen, Tammy. All right, awesome. Bam. We got some want to change your life. That's awesome. That's so good. So good. All right. One of the best worst places in life is to be comfortable in a position that you're just used to and you get used to it and that's becomes who you are. Right? And you start to believe it. You start to believe that it is not possible that you are broken. You are absolutely not. Just showed you all those people, the ladies that weren't. Okay? Lots of yeses. Okay, you guys are awake. I know it's late for some of you guys. For those of you who said yes, I would like to invite you to speak with me or a coach on my team. So you went through the process. You kind of understand now what kind of goes on, right? So I don't have a huge team, but there is me and a couple of members on my team. This is not for everyone though. If you're ready for a real change and you're fed up, this is for you. Again, like for ladies that are like, I could lose like 5 pounds. Like I'm fine where I'm at. Maybe this obviously is not for you, right? Um, Here's exactly what happens on like the strategy call to give you this literally is to give you as much clarity as possible around like what you've been doing and maybe what you need to fix. I gave you some of the tidbits of like kind of what could be going on, what could be holding you back just obviously on this call, but I can't really design a specific approach for every single person on this call. It's just gonna be impossible. But they will get clarity on what you need to do to be successful, right? So that you know what the next steps are for you, not Jenny. Sorry, Jenny, or the Jenny's in here. But we will be talking about what's been holding you back, what needs to change, like I said. And if it's a fit, obviously, if you feel like this is something that could work for you and what you need, like a custom game plan, whatever, we can discuss that, right? Of course, right? But we have to be a perfect fit. I do not work with anybody. I've made that mistake before. We have to know that you're coachable and like you're willing to try something different because a lot of people just do the same things over and over again. They have so much of an ego. There's a reason that you're not in the place where you want to be yet. You may not know what you don't know, right? So we will not work with anyone. But these are the type of results that you can expect. So Lydia, like I said, if you want to be fully present with being your grandkids, be able to get up down off the floor, spending time with kids, she battled with that all or nothing mindset. Dan's transformation, right? Again, doesn't matter how old you are. If you're 50s, 60s, you got lots of opportunity. Okay. Terry, I also added Tracy in here. Didn't have to get out carbs. She was a night shift worker, really busy schedule, but still made it work and got rid of that pesky hormonal belly fat. These women took action because they want to make themselves a priority. One of the biggest things that you guys face too is like you took care of everyone else for decades and now it's time for you. It's not like you don't have the time now. You don't have that excuse, right? Maybe you're still dealing with aging parents and you got all that still going on, but this is for you, right? I mean, this message still hits home for me too. I just wanted to say that this one I love this message. It just it just speaks to me. Other than one of my first clients, I was able to help get her pregnant. That's also really dear to me, but this isn't also another big reason. So I just want to read this quick. Hey Jesse, I didn't want to let this go by without thanking you. Thank you for all the videos and uploaded to social media. She saw 2 videos and decided to write you. Of course, I was very afraid just to be another scam, but I was even more afraid of being a miserable person for the rest of my life. I took the risk of taking that step. And today, even though I have a long way to go to working on myself, I see many physical change, not just physical changes. This program has touched the wounded child in me, and you have helped me break down barriers and negative thoughts and belief in myself. Above all, I learned that putting myself first doesn't mean leaving my family last. Quite the opposite, in fact. Today, I am present with them, full of energy. Before I did everything and put myself last, and I was always in a bad mood, tired, and negative. Today, I'm a new Alejandra, and I will continue working hard. Thank you so much. I wish you and your family great. This is like Happy New Year's. That's awesome, right? And many of us think that, again, putting yourself first, prioritizing yourself is going to make not time for everyone else, but it just gives back to everybody else in your life for you showing up the best version of you, whatever that is, right? So like I said, just because you're a woman does not mean you get in. Like when it comes to our program, we are selective of who we work with. So if you do want a permanent solution, we do like our results are 100% guaranteed. You get a full refund, no questions asked. Like we have that much confidence in what we have done. That has not happened yet. Spoiler alert. So for those of you who want to book in for a free strategy call to talk about your goals and just get clarity of what the next steps are for you and what you need to do, you can type yes in the chat box. I just want to see how many people are actually interested. Again, free value is here. Again, if you are, great, right? All right, cool. Awesome. Roberta. I knew Roberta changed your life. Awesome. Lots of yeses. Cool. Yeah, we're gonna get the questions here in a second, guys. I just want to make sure we're all paying attention. This is your moment, guys. I'm just gonna pull this off. I'll get to the Q&As here now. If you're watching this in the replay too, you can always DM me Transform on Instagram or Facebook, wherever you came from, probably Instagram. If you have any questions about anything at all as well, just want to shoot that out there. So now we're gonna go into the Q&A. All right. So and then I'll just answer a couple quick questions for you guys while we're on here. So why online training versus in person? One of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to in-person training that I found is that let's just say this is for everyone, whether you go with me or not. This is just what decision for yourself. I did in-person training for the first 5 years of coaching, or 3 years, I guess, 3 to 4 years. And I realized that I did not get great results with clients. It actually kind of sucked. Usually the gyms like have some special way of doing things. You have to follow the rules. And nutrition wasn't heavily focused, and especially for women that I was mostly coaching, typically like 30s, 40s, and 50s at that stage already. Like they weren't getting the support that they needed. And obviously that's why I started doing my own research. And in-person training is great. You go for an hour training session or twice a week, maybe sometimes 3 times a week. That's all you do. What happens the other rest of the week? Like the nutrition side. There's not a lot of emphasis on it all. No wonder there's not a lot of results happening in gyms. I'm not against in-person training for like specific rehab of something, of course, like physical therapy. But if you're trying to lose body fat, change your body composition, it does not make sense to go in-person training. And so many people think I need somebody to count my reps and tie my shoes for a whole hour. You don't need that. Right? I know that's what we think we need. But that's not going to get the weight off. It's simply not. Who's this program not for? If you have like again, kind of feeding off what I just said there. If you're broke, like if you literally can't work out, you can't do anything. Like you're like we work with injuries, knee injuries, shoulder problems. Like that's literally who we work with. Like so we understand the body when it comes to biomechanics. Like I said at the start. But if you cannot like literally can't even walk for like longer than like 10, 15 minutes at a time, probably not a program for you. We wanted to get you to do some type of strength training. Even if you have injuries, we can work around it though. How fast will I see results? Typically in the first month, not always a scale, sometimes a scale, but you will see inches lost or um, you'll see inches lost most of the time the scale, but usually like 2 to 2 inches depending on how much weight you lose in the first month. So usually the body composition changes. So like built like the fat loss and the muscle mass changes the fastest. Obviously, if you follow the plan. Do I work with you or your team? So you work with me and my team. You have access to me in our one-on-one group chat with your coach, but our team like is basically there so we can give you the best support possible. Our coach's only job is to get you the best results. That is their full-time job to get you results. So like obviously I'm doing a little bit of everything, helping like out with the just like, but you get access to me and the coach basically. You have a one-on-one coach assigned to you. Do I need equipment? Can I do it from home? You can do it from home. You don't need any equipment. You start with body weight. You don't need any equipment. But if you were going to get equipment, dumbbells would be nice. Half for ladies work out of a gym, half don't, probably. When it comes to like on the plan, a lot of you guys with us coaching, do you get a customized like calories and like workout like for you? Yes, you do, right? So we go over that. We give you the exact roadmap. We do give kind of like example meal plan template based on the food you like to eat. So it's not just like some random generic thing. And the workouts are completely designed to you and your injury. So everything is customized to you. We do have a custom app that we use. So like I always get that question answered as well. Um, like I said, for you guys this book, you can now comment done. I can put it in the chat if we're falling behind here again. I think Janet's got me. Thanks, Janet. Appreciate you. A couple times. And like I said, respect guys, like we're not going to go over again like the details of all the different options when it comes to program option there or cost. So any other questions, we're going to go to Q&A now. Oh, that was like my next phase, but I'm going to stop my share now. Did I go farther? Nope, that was the last one. Okay. Let's do some Q&A. Let's pull this up. I'm going to try and rip through as many of these as I can, like I said. Uh, so if you ask your question at the top, like probably ask it again. I'll try and go through it. Okay. Why can I pull this up? Pop out. There you go. What are the best protein sources besides meat? Edamame is my best like plant-based one, I would say, with a little bit of salt. Like there's little packages. Edamame, you can get it from like Costco. Even you guys have Costco. So good. Yogurt, eggs, egg whites, tempeh, tofu, easy ones. Um, Beans, chickpeas are all right. You just have to be careful with the amount of carbs that you're getting from them. Uh, you have to supplement typically if you're not eating any protein coming from meats, you're gonna have to supplement with some like vegan protein powder typically or hemp or you can beef protein, whatever kind of protein. Because it's just a lot harder to get lean quality processed protein, especially if you don't like tempeh or tofu. Some people don't. I don't think it tastes that bad. I actually like them, but um, All right. What if you have osteoporosis and have compression fractures in your spine? Fractures in your spine. I need a little bit more context, Wendy. Again, that's one of those things that I would say maybe not. Again, serious injuries like that, you probably need physio work alongside like maybe like a personal trainer too. Um, we have different lengths. Typically, we like want to give you like any transformation takes longer than a month. So we don't do obviously month programs for that long. Typically, like 4 to 6 months is what we start with for a transformation like that. Our goal is like, this is the last thing you have to do too. Like, you shouldn't need us forever. Like, that's not the goal. But let's just say you like Jenna and you like my beard, you can stay forever, whatever you want. But that's on our go. How do you get rid of food noise? You guys are asking like program questions, what I like too, but food noise. How do you get rid of food noise? I think increasing the GLP-1 in your gut naturally as much as you possibly can, that gets rid of as much food noise as you possibly can without having to take a GLP-1. And then obviously taking care of the cortisol and the stress. Because if you're not stressed out and we're reducing that with like prayer, meditation, breath work, we program it for a lot of ladies. And then you're also not doing the wrong type of workouts, you're doing the right type of stress reducing workouts. The food noise typically goes down quite a lot. You don't crave the carb, sugary things. Um, How long does it take to see results? I kind of answered that one, Sabina. First month, you should see a visible change in your progress photos within a month. Inches. I answered all the questions. I didn't get a text. Just text me on that number that Faye. If you put your phone number in there, you can message me on Instagram too. I'm sure you came from Instagram. Just message me, hey, I didn't get a text. If you're not getting a text from my work number, I don't know why you wouldn't be. Um, it's tough to get 160 grams of protein. That's a lot of chicken. It is. It's a lot of chicken. You don't have to eat that much chicken. Definitely not. See ya, Holly. Are protein shakes acceptable? Absolutely. Protein shakes, I like to. Protein shakes aren't going to be as satiating as having like some type of lean protein, let's just say, or a meat, right? They are used for an easy source of protein. Okay. There's nothing, I have nothing against protein shakes. They're just used as filling in the gaps. Don't rely on protein shakes. They should, but they are less satiating. So you have to be aware of that. So we want to, again, make the most satiating options as we possibly can. Cottage cheese is amazing. I'm sorry, join later. You can tell what that. You can tell what is that you're really offering us, guaranteeing us. You can watch the replay. You can obviously understand what we're doing. Um, it's all one-on-one coaching, basically. That's what we do. Our menopause reset program, we address the three things, like I said, hormones, metabolism, gut health, inflammation, lowering that, and putting it all together in just a customized plan for the individual. Um, Getting double audio. Why is that? That's weird. Are we logging food in a diary and weighing food? The way I like to look at that, Laura, is most ladies, we have a different approach for every person, but most ladies, by tracking some food at the start, can we get some really good data. We can see what the gaps are if you're not eating enough, especially. But the goal is to get you off of tracking as soon as possible, especially when you're maintaining the weight. There's no tracking. Like that's the goal. Creatine, best research supplement ever, top notch. Creatine is one like something that every one of you guys should be taking. 5 milligrams daily. Doesn't matter when you take it. Pre-workout, post-workout, anytime of workout. Creatine monohydrate. Doesn't matter the brand pretty much. Just make sure it's creatine monohydrate. I have had the odd person say that they get migraines from taking creatine. I had like one person say that out of like thousands. So if that's you, just be mindful of that. I don't know why, but I had that's I just want to say the not to scare you, but I don't know if that it was she said she started to stop taking it and it was I don't know. I haven't seen any research on that, but um the replay, I'm gonna send it to you guys via email and text. The link to the recipes isn't open. Just message me recipes, Connie. I don't know why that is. I'm gonna send the workouts so you guys all came to the group or the training. I'm gonna send that all together in the emails. So you're gonna get the replay, the 50 free workouts, the general like templated ones, like gym ones. Yeah, I think it's a lot of people hate tracking because like tracking isn't the only way to lose weight, but tracking does give you awareness. And again, tracking is not the goal; it's a tool. It's a short-term tool. If you stop tracking and you gain the weight back, you didn't do it right. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I can see how keto worked and then it didn't work. What does creatine help with? Creatine helps with creatine 5 milligrams. So it's like one scoop, typically is lots. If you're a lot of muscle mass and you're bigger, you might need a little bit more. We have some research on that, but 5 milligrams. Yeah. So it's like one scoop. So creatine, one scoop, 5 milligrams. Sorry, am I off the mic? Hopefully I'm on the mic here. Uh, what was I going to say? Um, Creatine helps with basically pulling water into your muscles. It improves gym performance. So like you can lift heavier weights to get more lean muscle, which increase your metabolism, which we want. It also has cognitive benefits. It's been shown to help with even brain fog and even some results with helping Alzheimer's, reducing that. So, uh, creatine, no brainer. Helps with ATP production specifically. So, your for force output, you can push heavier. That's new to me. Creatine. Did I repeat that? Oh, I think I said that. My menopause weight gain is on my back, but my belly is flat. I find it hard to target that area with that program. Yep. So when you lose body fat, we have different receptors on our body when it comes to body fat in different areas. Typically, the midsection is one of the hardest places for last places to go. Um, it's because we have different receptors, right? So a lot of times ladies lose weight in their face they first, which is great. That's typically where we lose it first. But yeah, you will lose body fat overall off your body. You can't spot reduce. We all know that. But you can spot reduce visceral fat. So visceral fat, again, the dangerous fat around the midsection, you can do that with strength training and a little bit of cardiovascular work, but not like the intense stuff that I was mentioning in this thing. So that can actually be like targeted per se. What if I have high creatine levels without taking any? That's cool. So you are you eating a lot of like beef, Nancy? Because like the amount that we're like supposed to have a good quality amount of creatine in our body, we'd have to eat like a tremendous amount of like meat, like red meat. Most of my weight seems to be lower belly. Yeah, it'll be an email, Wendy. Wendy, email. I'm gonna send it after. Yeah, this recording will be in the email, text email. I'm gonna text it and email. Yeah, creatine is an inflammation driver for women in menopause and perimenopause. Not good. The free workouts, Kelly, you're gonna get the free workouts if you just. I'm gonna send them to an email. The free workouts. Oh, I couldn't actually. It's not my cell phone number. I think it's because I'm a Canadian number. Shoot me a text, Samsung. I don't know who that is. Your name, Samsung. Again. Oh, were you getting the text for the masterclass? You could shoot me a text or an email. I'll get back to you. Have you seen anyone that has done a similar program and saw results, but they have results? Wait, what? Have you seen anyone that has done a similar program, saw results, but they have results? I don't know how to understand that question. Can you reword that? Has anyone done a similar program, saw results, but they have seen results with your program? So yeah, if they did another program and seen results, and then they did our program and see results, I mean, yeah, probably. Like, oh, there, yeah. I was gonna say there's many good programs. I'm not saying like this is like the only program out there by any means, but the ones that focus on perimenopause and menopause, like there's few and far between that I would like. I would if I was a lady in myself that would take myself. You just want to do you don't want to do generic stuff, right? Because generic stuff, I mean, you get generic results, right? Probably not the best. What's your IG handle again, please? IG handle. Here, let me reply to that. It's just Jesse dot ko or ytko. It's my name. It is my name. Vegan's a lot harder. Like I said, you have to use non-meat based protein options. So you have to tempeh like tofu, edamame, beans, any type of legumes. So yogurt, egg whites, eggs, like those type of options. No, it's not too heavy on the kidney, even without not lifting weights. You should be lifting weights, though, Zoom user. Why are you not lifting weights? Is creatine too heavy on the kidney? Should be eating 3 meals a day. How many eggs acceptable to consume? Um, Eggs you have to be careful with the amount of fat in them. Like fat isn't bad, but should we be eating 3 meals a day? I would say minimum. Probably you can work your way up from maybe you're only eating one right now. Maybe we go to 2 to 3, but I would do like three for blood sugar control, obviously, and making sure that you're able to get enough protein in a day so that you can fuel obviously the workouts and maintain the muscle mass. Will this help with mental symptoms? Yes, absolutely. I don't know what you're doing right now, Kat, but yes. Which is better, fish oil or krill oil? Um, I would say fish oil on that one. I don't know what would be better though. I think I would go with that. Does anyone have an opinion on that one? I'm curious. Um, yeah, the recording will be Jesse Greco. Yep. I'm gonna upload it to YouTube and then I'll send it via email. Is Pilates safe for high cortisol or would it cause more stress on the body? Pilates is safe. It's just not a direct replacement for strength training. So Pilates is like a supplement to strength training. The way I would look is Pilates. Pilates is great for mobility work, getting into end range of emotions that you don't normally get into. That can be really beneficial, but it's not going to be like a thing that replaces strength training. You can't get away with just doing Pilates. Obviously, it's better than doing nothing. You'd have to get it tested, the creatine levels in your body. It's not a common test. But you can try it out. Like try taking creatine for like a couple weeks a month. You probably won't notice it for like at least 3 4 weeks, like a month. And then just see how your gym performance improves and how you feel. It's one of the cheapest supplements too. I have food intolerance, can't eat high fiber foods, dairy or gluten. That's me, CZ. You are talking to me right now. I have so many food intolerances. I can't eat a lot of high fiber foods. I have to be very selective, like avocado, some fruits, like I can't do. Like I get severe brain fog. Can't eat dairy. Don't eat gluten really. So yes, you can. You're talking to me. I know. I'm not just being a baby about it either. How do we get the 50 for? Like I said, you're gonna get an email. Email. Use test. Yeah, macros is what we focus on. Not focus on like solely, but it is part of it. Yep. Because you need to understand the macro. So carbs, protein and fats is macros, very simply put. You need to understand that as a base foundation, right, to start off with, to get the best results possible. Because that they are the three main things that we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on micronutrients and all of that, but you need to understand that. Hey Maria, if you're interested, I'll reply to your link here. You can just fill out this quick application. You can meet with our team. I'm just gonna put in the chat there. Thank you. Sorry, messed up. Tricky. I can wait. Yeah, you can watch the replay. I'm gonna have to put Eastern time. I think for most people, I think that confuse people. I know time zones suck. Maybe I'll have to put all the time zones. Yep. Diet restrictions. We've worked with vegans, like I said, gluten free. What like we've pretty much seen it all. Yeah, there's nothing that we haven't really worked with at this stage. Like our coaching team has like 7 years of experience, so we basically always have an answer for you. There's not like an answer that we would not have. Again, I don't know everything. I'm not going to say I know everything, but someone on our team will. I'm not going through menopause either soon, so like I obviously learned a lot about it, but I'm not going to go through it. So we are a couple of our coaches have been through menopause themselves, so they understand. Um, can you lift weights? with osteoporosis and healed. See, like you can. You just have to be careful, Wendy. You have to be really careful. Krill, yeah, probably. Yeah. I have heard of that too. I don't know if I would choose fish. I mean, if I had to pick one or the other, I don't know. Can you lift weights? So I already answered that question. I eat steak for every meal. Do I still need to take creatine? You eat steak for every meal? That's crazy. I probably not, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know what your creatine levels are at. Uh, is it rational? Is it rational to set a weight goal when working on building muscle? Isn't it more like isn't it more likely we will gain weight because muscle weighs more than fat? Is it rational to set a weight goal when we are trying to work on building? Yes, it is. I mean, you're not going to build more muscle than losing body fat. Building muscle is slower than losing body fat. Losing body fat is like easy. So I'm gonna say it's easier. It's easier than building muscle. Muscle is a slower process. So you're gaining like 10 to 15 pounds of muscle in a year. Like you're not building muscle fast. Except if you're just starting out. And that slowly decreases as you go along. So losing fat's faster. So you can work on building muscle and losing fat at the same time. Is it more likely you will gain muscle because so you could say the same weight and change your body composition? Let's say you build muscle, lose fat. Absolutely. In the first month, we typically do see that, but usually the scale does move. Macros, protein, carbs, and fats, Laura. That's all that macros means, like the major three. I have celiac, so many food sensitivities. Savina, you're talking to me. Steak and fish are only my. Oh wow, that's crazy. Um, if I have less than 10 pounds to lose, my main concern is see. Sometimes the last 10 pounds is probably the hardest. 10, 15 pounds for a lot of ladies. So yes, yeah, yep. We typically work with yeah, yeah, because the mental belly, we work with people that only have to lose 10, 15. Because let's just say you're at 130 or 140, whatever, you're relatively lean already and you want to lose 10, whatever. That makes a huge difference on a lady, right? It makes a huge difference. It does. Um, uh, is it okay to never do intermittent fasting? Yeah, you don't have to do intermittent fast. You do not have to do intermittent fasting. I want to lose 30 pounds to start. 30 pounds. Oh, I want to lose 30 pounds to start. Yeah, I mean, again, you should be building muscle during that whole time because if you don't build muscle while you're losing the weight, again, you're taking muscle and fat while you're losing weight, which we don't want. We don't want to take muscle and fat together. I'm not sharing my screen, am I? No. Sorry. Intermittent fasting, I'm not a huge fan of. Makes it harder to hit your protein goal for the day because you have a small window to get it in. Typically, cortisol levels are elevated throughout the morning, which is normal, but then it's elevated throughout the rest of the day, and we don't get any food in. And then you try and cram all your stuff, your nutrients in 2 meals. And a lot of times, sometimes we undereat, right? And a lot of times we probably overeat at night. Majority of ladies, if they're honest with themselves. And like vacations, like stuff come up, like social events, you don't want to just not eat in the morning. I just don't see it like being a thing long term for most. How do you know you're not losing muscle when you're losing weight? How do you know you're not losing muscle when you're losing weight? You know you're not losing muscle when you're losing weight if your strength is staying the same or you're getting stronger with your weight training. So that's why we recommend we're doing like workouts for 6 to 8 weeks at a time. So you know you're not losing muscle when you're losing weight if you're getting stronger or staying the same with your strength levels. Absolutely. Um, yep, you can get your cortisol levels checked. Yep, yep, absolutely. Again, not everyone's probably going to have chronically um, elevated levels. Yeah, doctors are good for some things still. They have their expertise. They're there for a reason. But the problem is the thing with doctors is like when it comes to menopause and like HRT and hormone replacement therapy, they're not all staying up to date on the research, right? Like they just kind of get the bare information, maybe they hear about it or whatever, but that like they have so many things they have to worry about, so it's tough. It's kind of the one part of our system that sucks. Do we determine do we determine the weights or are they program based on assessment? Yeah, we give you like the weights that you should be using. So like all our coaches are like, hey, like let's start with this weight, let's use that, and then progress to that. I know it can be overwhelming trying to figure it out on your own. If you're gonna try and figure it out on your own, you can kind of guesstimate it. Be like, hey, like I'm gonna use a weight for 8 to 10 reps. Was it too easy? You can then go up a little bit. And then you want to try and fall in that 8 to 10 rep range, just to give an example of how you would do it if you're going to do it by yourself. It's a little bit more trial and error that way, but we've done it so long, we kind of get see where you're at, what you've done, what you did in the past. We kind of give you a general guideline. But leg exercises, guys, you guys aren't doing like you shouldn't be using like 10 pounds weights. Like there's no way. You should be going 20, 25 pounds. Janet's helping me out here. Thanks, Janet. You're awesome. 160 leg press. Let's go. Do fish turkey have benefits that red meat have? Do they have creatine? Yep. Yep. 1 second. Let's see. I don't know. I have no idea what like off the top of my head um levels right now. Bam, 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 bam. Oh yeah, no, it's mostly it's just red meats. I was like, I'm pretty sure that um I was like almost positive. Higher amounts. Like red meats is the highest amounts. Like beef is like the highest amount. There is some in chicken. Okay, I was right. I was like, okay, I'm not stupid. There is some, but it's just smaller amounts. Like fish again, small. Like fish, a little bit higher than chicken is what I'm seeing here. But beef is the highest, so I'm not out to lunch. Uh, Did you just say no 10-pound weights or yes? Do you want heavier, like 10-pound weights for certain exercise, maybe when you're just getting going, but like we always get like our ladies getting to 25 to 50 pounds. We can be strategic with just body weight, but ideally we get you guys going too. Do you give us mindset coaching along with the fitness and nutrition coaching? Yes. I know no one likes to talk about the fancy stuff or like it's like, oh, mindset coaching. What does that actually entail? But all of our coaches, so they've done what you wanted to do. All of our coaches are female. It's a female team. They've done what you wanted to do, so they understand the mindset and the not the discipline, or I guess the discipline in a way, but they understand what it is like to go through your journey and succeed. So they know what it takes to get there. So if you want to speed up your progress with anything in life, you want to do something that somebody has already done, so you can take away the guesswork and the mistakes along the way. That's why we have coaching, right? There's thousands of stuff online, like stuff like you can just look up like whatever a meal plan online, right? Um, but the challenge is like all these questions that are coming up, like all these things that are popping up along the journey. That's what coaching is really good for, and that's why I've always had a mentor for the last 8 years. I wanted to speed the time up for me to learn the things I need to learn. Um, so yes, there's mindset coaching daily. We have to talk a lady off the ledge when it comes to the scale. Probably every second day, every day. I don't know. This is the way it is. How do you help with bloat? So a lot of things that help with bloat is the right types of fiber. So prebiotic and probiotic fiber, getting the right amounts of those. Probiotics, not a huge fan. If you can get it from natural sources, like sometimes probiotics can make things worse because it just throws random things in your gut. And be like, oh yeah, hopefully this works out. Can cause more damage than good. Um, but bloating, sorry, back to the first question, I got sidetracked. So the right types of fibers, and then obviously walking after meals, that's another good one. Um, and then inflammatory foods, lowering the inflammatory foods that are causing that. So I mean, I deep fried the obvious stuff like alcohol, but those would be the major things that are going to help with bloat. If we can get your gut health good, so like probiotic and prebiotic fiber, like things that add to your gut and then feed your gut. Basically, if we're getting the right combination of those foods, we can do a lot of great things to your gut, and you're going to reduce bloating. Yep, perimenopause, Jessica. Yep. So like I'd say, I don't know, quarter, like not quarter. I have to ballpark it. We have ladies in their 40s, so like they're still perimenopause. They're not full blown menopause. Um, but we don't have anybody like 30s anymore, so 40 and up. But perimenopause, yeah, we have lots of ladies in perimenopause. Yep. What inspired me to coach menopause ladies? Aha, good question. I've done lots of reels on this, but there's so much misinformation out there, like I said, and there was a gap, and it's not as easy, especially with the weight training. Like we need to be more specific with the weight training, and there's so many more obstacles. Like you can't just do a random program and like hopefully your body responds to it. Like there's injuries we got to work around. There's like, and again, like I said, like stuff that normal people do in their 20s and 30s, like working out has to change. But I think it inspired me because I seen my mom has severe arthritis. Like that is one aspect of it. And sure, body's like breaking down. She has severe inflammation, but rheumatoid arthritis, it's terrible. But besides that, like she's like independent as heck. But like when you're able to, like when you lose that stuff, that independency, like even shoveling when I can't even do that anymore, like that sucks. So like as long as we can prolong that and you being able to independent, I think is one of the biggest things that means a lot to me because so many women don't know how to strength train yet, or they just don't know what works. So I think that's the biggest reason it inspired me. There's so many options for probiotics. Where do we start? I would say my top ones, uh, like probiotics are a little bit tougher. So again, like I said, this sometimes caused the opposite effect. But you probably heard of like sauerkraut. Again, this is like Costco. Kefir, um, uh, kimchi. It's another good one. These are like there's not a lot. Greek yogurt is another one. Like you guys heard of yogurt. I'm sure a lot of you guys heard that. There's not that many, right? So again, these like you don't need as much of compared to like the prebiotic fiber, but they are going to still help, right? So um basically like it's the bacteria itself. The prebiotics are going to the food for the bacteria. Basically, it's the bacteria. The probiotics is the bacteria, like the good bacteria, right? So it's like it's the balance. So it's having a little bit of that can make a huge difference. And everyone's individual, totally different for each individual, though. Prebiotic foods. Now we're going. Those are like the major things you see, like your fruit, like fruits, vegetables, like all the other ones, like um um or like well chickpeas, lentils, um onions. Asparagus is a good one. It is terrible raw. Greek yogurt, guys. If you need Greek, if you want to have Greek yogurt, make sure you spice it up with like honey yogurt or something like that too, or honey yogurt, berries. Why do I feel so inflamed when eating carbs? I don't eat a lot of refined carbs either. Could be the obviously the type of carbs, like I said. Um, and it's all like you're. Are you talking gluten or not gluten, or gluten free, Maria? Maria? Good questions, guys. There's so many questions here. I think I missed a couple. Yeah, menopause is not fun, but it doesn't have to be as bad, right? So like sweet potatoes makes me feel swollen. Interesting. That I'm not 100% sure on. Because sweet potatoes is probably one of the least ones that I've ever seen somebody that has negative side effects from. Um, Maybe, I don't know. I actually don't know. Like, I mean, one of the things I would say is like FODMAP, kind of like anything with fiber in it causing a lot of issue. That I could see. I can eat, I even eat the next day after it's been refrigerated. Not gonna give you a 100% answer because I don't know right off the top of my head. Sorry, guys. We will have to cut that short. These are great questions. Um, I appreciate you guys all for staying on and asking the questions. I will have to end this here. But guys, if you have any other questions, you can always message me on Instagram. I will try and get back to the texts and emails, like I said, for you guys. But again, thank you guys so much for jumping on here and just sharing and asking questions for everyone else to learn from. So it's been great listening to you or being with you guys. Um, and that will be all for today. All right. So anybody watching this on the replay as well, if mentioned on Instagram or Facebook, just transform. If you have any questions just about our menopause reset program, what we do, you can message that there as well. And that is gonna be it for today, guys. You guys have the best day ever. Thank you guys for tuning in. All right. I'm sending emails to you guys too, so more stuff coming along the way. So stay tuned for that. And you guys have a great night, and let's keep rocking. You guys are awesome. All right. Bye, guys.